than 45. And so I try to stay current in asking them questions. So I'm always on my stories asking polls, like, what do you guys want to see from me? What do you like? I've been doing this. Has it changed? Do you enjoy seeing this type of content? And it gives me feedback directly from them, so I know how to navigate in the space as I continue to create and put out things that I'm trying to draw my audience to.
That's really good. And what I heard you say is that it's relationship, right? It's really checking in and being interactive with, those who are following you. And I'm sure people hit you up in, the messages and try to kind of get that one-on-one. How do you navigate that when, you're trying to handle business, but maybe you're getting those questions that continue to pop into your box?
I know it differs for everyone, but for me, it's transparency. I feel like a lot of what I do on social media falls into like the story of my life, right? And so people know that I'm an entrepreneur, but they also know I'm a mom. They know I'm a wife. They know I have things going on. And so I oftentimes invite them into my space by sharing parts of whether it's my day or behind the scenes if I'm shooting. So they kind of see what's going on in the day-to-day workings of the business. And I do find time to like answer the DMs and answer the questions and, hey, send me an email if it's too long. But being transparent and being open and making my business more relatable in a way that people feel like it's an actual person and not just this company that they can't really relate to.
I love that. And I'm definitely going to go back to that because we all know how difficult it can be managing your online presence and still doing life. And so I definitely want to get back into that. But before I do, I heard Em say that she knows her why. And that is something that is pivotal to just being successful in any business or practice. So for all of us who sometimes maybe wrestle with that, how did you get to that point? And then I'd love to hear from you too. How did you get to the point of knowing your why?
So a little bit about my story, not to go on a long journey, but I've been doing hair since I was a little girl. It's something I've always loved. It's the only job I've ever wanted to do. And so as I got into the wig business, I got into the space because me and my husband got pregnant and I said, wow, how can I still do what I love, but not sacrifice my family, right? So a lot of my why comes from trying to find the balance of enjoying my craft, doing it to the best of my ability, but then also maintaining a space where I can pull back from the job and then pour into my family. Right. And so that why, in terms of how it relates to my business, flows over into the pricing, flows over into the people that I target and how I serve them. A part of my business is education, and so I get a chance to reach back to other hairstylists who may want to learn how to make wigs and show them they can also find ways to make revenue without sacrificing their family. Find ways to make revenue without feeling like you have to give up all of your time standing behind the chair. And so that why pushes me to continue on the path of education and continue on the path of finding out ways in my business that I can grow and develop ways that I can serve my audience better, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. And I had a mentor once tell me, you can pivot your business practices, but you can't pivot on your core values. So knowing your why and knowing foundationally what got you started allows you to build on that and even change direction. A lot of us had to change direction, right? Especially with the pandemic. So knowing your why, that is foundational to everything else. What do you think about that, Alycia?
So I've always wanted to do fashion. My grandmother was a huge inspiration for me growing up. So I've always known that I wanted to do it in some aspect. So I used to see bloggers, and there was a different era of blogging and content creation than what it is now. People used to actually have blogs that you go on and read. I know there's like more just TikTok and Instagram now, but I used to see bloggers, and I didn't see bloggers that looked like me, and they weren't necessarily not black. They just weren't curvy or within my size range. So I wanted to fill the gap, and because I would get questions all the time about my clothes and how I put certain things together. So to me, it was just very easy for me to fall into doing it because I wanted to help women be their best selves in fashion too. So one thing that I have learned is that my why has to be good enough before I even go into it. It has to be good enough for me, because there are going to be times when the why isn't always easy to accept, because people aren't seeing your vision. People aren't seeing it the way that you want it to be seen, or they aren't understanding it. So your why has to be good enough for you before you even go into trying to get other people to understand your why.
I love that. I love that. And practically speaking, I know a lot of us hear that, like, know your why, know what your core value is. Did you take time out and just sit down and journal? Did you like have key questions that you jot it down? Did you go to a retreat, or where, like, how did you really hone in? Because a lot of us are like at that point, I need to know my why, but where do I start?
Absolutely not. I did everything backwards. I probably should have gone to some classes and learned from some people, but I really just jumped in, and that's because my passion for it was already there. I already desired to help women and to show women how to find dresses that fit their hips, to help make their stomach look little flatter, because these are topics that I was dealing with myself, or just accepting your body where it is in that moment. So I was already passionate about that, so I was just like, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna see what happens. But I do encourage people to find out as much information that they can. Like, look at other people that are doing what you're doing, and you don't have to mimic what they're doing, but see what's working for them and find out how it can work for you.
I love that. I love that. So she just jumped right in there, right? Trial and error, and figured it out along the way. And so as an entrepreneur, just working it and working your craft that way, did you get helpful feedback from others in the industry that you took to heart? Or, how did you sort of navigate those waters?
No, it was a really long process before I saw, it was a really long time frame before I saw growth on social media. And that's why I say your why has to be good enough for you before you try and get other people to understand it.
Right.
There were a lot of times where I just was not getting any feedback. And I felt like no one was seeing my content, but there was so much blind joy that I had in just doing it and just getting out there and taking the pictures and just hoping somebody would see it, because back then we had a lot of times where we actually talked in person and not just on social media. So being able to see other women and going to different events of women that were doing what I was doing and talking to them and getting feedback in that way. But on social media, you don't always see the fruits of your labor immediately.
Mm-hmm. And if we're real honest, that can be nerve-wracking, right? Because we're plugging in and putting all these hours in and all this effort, and we're not really knowing what's hitting, what's not hitting, what's connecting, what's not connecting. So with that, I'd love to ask you, what do you do with that? And what do you do in those moments and in those spaces where you're like, is this working? I know you said you poll your audience a lot. Do you just maybe pivot completely, or do you just try to ease into something else gradually?
That's a good question. So in moments where I feel like this is, because for a while before my page started to do better, I kind of felt the same thing. I said, man, like my post, I feel like this is great content, but nobody's liking my pictures. Like, I'm not getting the sales that I want to get.
Right.
And so I started to, you kind of look around to see what's working. And like you said, not necessarily mimic that, but see how you can relate that to your audience in a way that's authentic to you. So I found myself trying to do different things with my content. Okay, this person had a great video. What was different about it? They probably had good lighting, and so just trying to find ways to tweak my content to make it more appealing. And then also, as I mentioned before, the polls to see what people even wanted from me. Because sometimes you can post something thinking that's what your audience wants, and they actually don't. And so trying to get the feedback from them directly, and then taking that feedback and then creating content through that and showing them, hey, I'm listening to you and I'm trying to present something to you that actually suits a need and fits a need. And so that's kind of how I began to navigate that space.
I think that's amazing. And I think with that, to your point, just really taking your time and not making any quick decisions, because sometimes that gets us deeper into sort of that rabbit hole. And we don't want to try to mimic someone. Like you said, you want to be authentic in your practice. So I appreciate that. I have about 2 or 3 more questions, and then we're going to go into asking you all what your thoughts are. A lot of great content, a lot of good information. So how do you know when was the right time for you to pivot, and when you transitioned from, as you said, being behind the chair to, taking it more globally and online? How did you know when it was the right time for you?
So I'm going to be really honest.
Be honest.
I kind of did it the wrong way a little bit. Again, I got pregnant and said, wow, this is new. I guess 1 + 1 does equal 3. That's kind of how it happened. And so I had to kind of think on my toes, and it just so happened that I took a wig making class, and I said, well, I think I'm going to try to make this work. And at the time, I didn't have a clientele for wigs. It was one of those things when I look back on, I'm like, wow, that was kind of crazy. But I stepped out on faith and just did it because it's a passion that I've always had. I've always done hair. And so parts of me felt like, I think I can make this happen if I just give it a try. And so I jumped out, started the wig business. And one of the pivots of the business became education, right? And so how education came about was I would post the wigs, and then I would get inquiries from other wig makers or hairstylists saying, so how did you do that? How did you make that stitch? How did you create this type of wig on a certain type of cap? And so getting those questions in kind of led me to think, well, maybe I can teach this. And so again, I blindly said, well, let me just try to do my first class. And the first class did great. And so then another class happened. And so that's kind of where the pivot came, where I realized, okay, I can probably step into education. And when I got into the education mode, I realized I love this because I get to pour into women who are like-minded and who are trying to kind of take the same journey, but on a different scale.
I love that. And I love this statement I heard once: your passion plus your purpose can equal profit. Yeah. A lot of the times we put our stuff out there for free, or we continue to just give our stuff away, but you took the time to create an actual course. And from that, you saw profit and you saw business grow. So I think that's awesome. I have one more question. How are we on time, y'all? Everybody good? So I want to talk really briefly about when you are transitioning and you're entering that new space. There's something called imposter syndrome. I'm familiar. Most of us are familiar with what that is, but it's when your sort of inner self is saying you don't belong in this space, others do it better. It's negative self-talk, basically. So I'd love to hear from both of you. How have you navigated through imposter syndrome, and what does that look like even now? Because it's something that can continue to come up as you go to different levels in your business. So I'll start with you, Alycia.
Alycia, did you write this question? Did you do that? That's something I struggle with all the time. Imposter syndrome is, we homies at this point. I'm trying to defriend him, but I think that the best thing that you can do is to continue to force yourself to be in those spaces. Right. Just put yourself out there until you finally feel comfortable. And that's what I'm doing here today.
I love that.
Speaking in front of people is not my favorite thing, but I have made it just a goal of mine to be able to step out in spaces that I don't feel comfortable in, and to go to places, talk to people, and because I am an introvert, and so I think it's just important for us to be able to force ourselves into those different spaces that we don't feel like we belong in, because that's the only way that we can become used to something and feel like we eventually belong there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. And you're doing an amazing job. Isn't she doing a great job, y'all? You're doing a great job. So thank you for coming and being a part of the discussion tonight. What about you, Em? How do you combat that imposter syndrome?
So for me, one of the ways I combat it is going back to scripture personally. The scripture says that your gift will make room for you. And so when I think about the gifts that I have, the things that become burdens in my heart that I think about all the time at night, I'm up figuring out how to make them work. When I think about those burdens, and then when, daytime comes and I feel inadequate, I have to rest in the fact that it's okay to feel inadequate and still be used and still be gifted and still be able to serve and love and do all the things that you're equipped to do, even if you don't feel as capable in the moment. And to your point, just stepping out and doing it, it begins to build small steps in that comfort, in that security, or what's a better word? Confidence.
Right.
And so the more I started to just say, hey, well, let me just make this post, even if they don't like it, and then let me make another one the next day, and let me just keep trying and working the gift that I actually love. And when I focus more on the love of the gift, more so than the response or the praise of people, it kind of pushes you to kind of have confidence no matter which way it goes. So now if I get, however many likes on a post, that's great. But my hope and confidence is not in that, because I focus more on the gift that I have and just trying to use that to the glory of God, as opposed to trying to, satisfy people. And so realizing that it's okay to be inadequate, realizing that it's okay to kind of feel like you're not the best for the job, but resting in the fact that you're still gifted to do it.
I love that. I love that. Great answer, both of you ladies. Me and Joanna Gaines, she doesn't know it, but she's my homegirl. I get every Magnolia Journal. I love the magazine, and I read this amazing article once that said this author was trying to push her book, trying to push it, and she realized she had more joy writing the book. And her statement was, it's the happy in the doing. And that has stuck with me, especially with imposter syndrome. You really find you're happy in your doing, not in the likes, not in the comments, right? And so keeping that, again, foundation really does help you push through and tell your homie, take a back seat, because I'm really going to continue to do this work. So go ahead.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
It's so funny that you say that, because I find that, people think if you get to, a certain amount of likes on Instagram, or if I could just get 10,000 followers, like then my bid, or if I could get 20,000, and then you find that you get there and it's empty, right? And to your point, it's like, the beauty is really in like the growth of the process, because it makes you into something. It makes you into a better business person. It makes you into a better human, a better, person who can lead and grow and have systems, as opposed to like the end goal. And I think a lot of times we look at the end goal as being like the top tier, when really the process is the most beautiful part.
Most beautiful part. Absolutely. Go ahead.
I want to add something to that. As you were speaking about having to be at a certain level to reach achievements, I used to think that all the time. One of my very first contracts was with this company, or this store called City Trends, and I got that contract at 3,000 followers, when people were saying that you have to have 10, you have to have 15 in order to be paid to post on social media. And it wasn't, and I didn't get it because of the followers that I had. I got it because they enjoyed the content and the engagement that I had with the people that were on my page, because I was going on their pages and talking to them. I was responding when they were in my comments. It's all about connection, and that's what they were attracted to. So you don't have to be at a certain a certain grade of followers. You don't. It's all about
a relationship.
Absolutely. And just building with people, building a community. I don't even like to say followers, because to me it's more of a community, because you get to know these people. Like she has her kids on her page. You get to know what's going on with her family, and so it's about building connection with people.
Yes, and we can't forget that, because when we do, we get caught up in the numbers and in the emptiness of it all, and we never really arrive. And so, yes, it's definitely connection and relationship. I would love to hear from you all. We're going to jump into our audience with questions. One thing in particular, I do hope someone asks, but I'll put it out there, is how you balance family and business. And then something else you just mentioned is when you get to the point of being paid, with different contracts and opportunities that come through networking. So I'm going to start here. You want me to go, or am I okay? Okay. Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right. She has a question, so.
Q&A. I'm just coming up with it.
Oh, okay. Okay, he's going to go. I was like, wait. Here we go. And can you tell us your name and what you do?
I don't think it's on, but I think I can. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
But it's recording, so we want you to talk in the mic.
It's not.
Okay, he got you.
Mic check 1 2.
Okay, my name is Candace. I do a lot of things, but one thing I'm going to ask about today is I heard a lot of stuff about people who do like video content, but I'm a writer. So are there any tips for those of us who aren't as video savvy, because I suck at making reels and TikToks and stuff? My gift is through words. So like, how do you feel like someone like me or someone who, writes can reach our audience that way?
So, do you just feel you don't feel comfortable? Are you not interested in doing video at all?
Let's just say the one time I did make a reel, it took me 90 minutes and it was a 50-second video. So
That's me every day.
That's normal content.
That's very normal. But you don't have to force yourself in spaces that you don't feel comfortable in. I know that's against what I said, but I think when you have a passion for writing, you have to focus on that. And so sometimes, there are a lot of different ways to use Instagram. TikTok is clearly just videos, but Instagram has photos, it has stories. So you can utilize your stories. You can let people know, hey, I have this blog. It's a blog. I have this new blog up. You can reach people in that. You can also have your friends share it in their stories. Or if there is somebody that reads your blog, you have a specific person, post comments, post people that are talking about your blog, that are saying all the good things about it. So I would focus on maybe my stories and my page, because Canva, if you're not familiar with it, there are so many different graphics that you can create on there that allows you to promote and sell your business.
Very true. Very
And
true.
don't give up on video. It can be very uncomfortable, but if you will just allow yourself maybe two more times, give it 2 more chances. Because you never really know. And there are some people out there that, feel just as uncomfortable. And sometimes it's about finding those people that have that same why or that same uncomfortability that you have.
Thank you. Go ahead, Em. Yes.
When you were talking, what came to mind was, all of us on social media for the most part, there are pages, and I know you've seen them, where it's like floating water in the background and it's just text.
Very true.
And it's 100 million likes, right? Because the messaging is what captures people and is what they share. It's like their morning inspiration on a Sunday, or like their free tip Tuesday. And a lot of those pages are doing well. And when you go to the page, you don't see a person, but you see their words, you see their creativity through their language. And that's what the people fall in love with. So if you're not a person who wants to be like on video with the selfie, you can be that person that creates language on your page that entices people to want to share. You know what I mean? And then
really
taking that same idea of a reel, taking a background that's water flowing, or you just walking and it's like the back of your head, adding text on a screen and then capturing them in your caption. Because truth be told, people still read captions. And if you make really good captions that tell a story, it then kind of segues people into being like, well, who is this person? Mm-hmm. And then right in your bio, you can have a link that says, hey, check out my blog. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so there are ways to navigate that space without feeling like you have to kind of get completely out of your comfort zone and do videos that you don't really want to do for your brand.
Great.
One more. Same thing with quotes too. I follow so many quote accounts, and I go on there for daily inspiration, but you can also have like a set time that you do those affirmation or those quotes. It could be Monday motivation, or, uplifting Friday, something like that. So when they go to your Instagram, they know, okay, I'm going to get something from her today.
Friday, yeah.
Thank you. Yes, hello.
My name is Crystal Ash. I'm an author as well as a speaker. You guys have shared some really great information this evening. I wanted to ask you guys, you kind of touched on it, but I wanted to ask about like the partnerships and brand deals, and what does that process look like, or what did that process look like for you?
So back in the day, and sometimes now, I used to pitch. So pitching is just me either sending a DM to a brand or me emailing a brand saying, hey, my name is Alycia. I'm a fashion content creator. Here are some of the stats that are on my Instagram and my TikTok. Here's a post that I did with this brand. I would love to work with you. And you can do that. And I sometimes do DMs because sometimes you don't always have an email. And then they'll send you an email that way. But if you already have an email address, or you've met somebody at an event or a mixer or something like that, you can send them an email and just say, hey, I was so glad to meet you. I'd love to work with your brand.
Can I ask a little bit more about that? So is there do you have a deal, that's something that you put together where they see your images, your stats? Is there something that you can send them via email? Like, what does that look like? Like, is there like a deck or something?
Absolutely. It's called a media kit. So, and you can make them on Canva. Canva has several different little drafts that you can create on your own. You'll add your picture, you'll add a bio, you'll add your analytics, you'll add, brands that you have worked with, and then you'll send that along with the email or the DM. Well, I would probably just email it because they don't always read through them through DMs, but a media kit is what you will want. Some brands request that after you do the intro, and sometimes I'll send that after I'll do the intro. But a media kit is a great tool to have.
Thank you. We have another question.
Okay, I did want to dig into that. And so one of the things I wanted to make sure too is that, and some of y'all have been coming all week, thank y'all. And you have heard me say this several times. There's so many places you could be. So I want to make sure that this hour of your life is invested well, and that you're able to get tangible things. So really, y'all, M is a beast. And so don't sleep on Sus. She's a beast. And Alycia, she's a humble beast, but a beast nonetheless. And so I want you guys to be able to ask questions, but I also want to make sure that we are getting tangible things. So when it comes to content strategy, we talked about the why, and you did an amazing job pulling that out, talking about the why. So once people establish their why, I think too, how many service providers do we have? People who just do service providing. It can be weird creating social media for, because if you don't have a product, it's okay, all right. You don't know exactly what to do, kind of similar to your question, Candace. How do I create community and a following if I don't necessarily have a product, but I have a service that I'm providing? So how do I pull people into that story? So I've heard before something around content buckets, right? So it's okay, if I'm in the beauty space, one of my content buckets is family, because that's around what I realize my community need. Obviously, you're educators, so you're showing them techniques, right? So how would you kind of advise people on their content strategy? So I'm a service provider. How do I determine the 3 or 4 things that I'm going to post about? Because sometimes you'll go on some folks' page, y'all seen this, and it's just sales. It's I don't even know you. Why would I buy your package, right? And so it's okay, how do we kind of choose a content strategy around what we're going to show on social media to really build the community, to get them into our funnel of the services that we provide?
That's good. Can I jump in? So a service provider, one that came to mind is a chef. Let's just say you're a private chef and you want to host dinners more. You're trying to create that brand. You want to get out there and let more people know about your company. One way I would do that, instead of just saying, hey, buy this fish plate, right, is to start. People love the content that gets shared the most is when people feel inspired, when they feel like you're educating them or you're showing them something they did not know, right? So if I am a chef, I'm not gonna give you all my secret recipes, but what I will do is invite you into the space of me creating that meal and say, man, if you're trying to make a quick dinner for your family, take this 1, 2, 3 steps. Something very simple. Is not giving away all your secret sauce, but it's also letting people know that they're more than just a sale, that you're trying to invest in them in some way and make their life a little easier. So I would create content around that. I know that doesn't answer about your
No,
pillars, but
that absolutely
that's one
answers
way
it.
to pull out content. I may show you like me fixing it, even if I'm just cooking it for myself. Let me just show you the process, the behind the scenes of me creating this meal and what the outcome is. That's one piece of content. The other one may be giving you quick tips of how to make fast recipes when you're in a hurry. Because as a chef, you got to do things on the fly. So let me show you that I can make these quick meals, still get a great outcome, and then give you tips along the way so you can do it at home. Yeah.
I love that. So, okay, repeat that again, because those are three, but so people feel inspired,
Feel inspired.
Educated.
Yeah. Educated.
educated,
And I guess the third one kind of goes with the second one. They feel like you're giving them some value.
value.
Yeah.
Got you. So some kind of transformation,
Yeah.
right? So it's kind of talking to their pain points. Were you gonna say something, Alicia?
Well, if I can use, I know you're the beauty guru, if I could use so my sister, she has a hair oil. And one thing that she did was she used a customer that was comfortable with showing her hair journey process. And so I saw her from having 3 strands of hair to having like a full head of hair. And so, but but it made me,
But that's transformation.
right? And she got with her. She felt comfortable. She asked her if she, was okay with it, and she shared that story. And that story made me, when she had a buy one get one, I bought 4. So it just, I think, pulling people into pulling their stories into your platform is a really good idea, because it makes those people feel comfortable. It makes them feel like they're a part of their journeys too, and it will also encourage them to, maybe I should try this product. Maybe it'll make me look like this. And it's to me, it's also about just relatability.
Yeah.
It's about relatability and making connections with people, and that does that.
I love how we keep going back to that. And to your point, it's foundational and really focusing on the testimonials and people sharing their stories. It becomes relatable, and people are like, huh, okay, if it happened for her, it can happen for me. Or if it happened for him, it can happen for me. So
Cool. I want to ask another question too. Hello, Maisha. You can ask whatever you want, girl. What you want to ask, girl?
Well, so I do consulting. I'm in year 3, and I literally have, just my personal Facebook page and a very wide network. So it has been a lot of word of mouth, but I am ready to go into a world where I can get what I call in consulting world easy money, where I can literally get on a virtual platform and do workshops and, talk about my little area of expertise. However, my area of expertise sometimes is a heavy topic. I do diversity, equity, and inclusion, belonging, training, strategic planning, and everybody's like, whoa, it's a sexy topic, but it can be controversial, and I want to create more of a softer landing where I will get companies to reach out to me, gosh, that was good, that was helpful for my organization. How can we book her to do a workshop, a speaking engagement? And yeah, I don't have a product. I have a logo that needs some help, and I'm thankful for I'm at 21 clients now I've worked with.
That's awesome.
And some repeats. But again, I want to go into some of this, like, okay, a company, I can get on a computer and do a workshop and boom, boom, boom. So what can be a suggestion to create a soft landing? People see me, understand what I provide, and they want to reach out to me, because that, I'm not a shy person, but I just want to make it meaningful. And plus, I'm an older millennial. Like, I'm 39. I don't want to be out here looking goofy.
I love that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think a lot of it is educating people on why your services or your product is important. I think a lot of times we don't know what we need until we know what we need, right?
true.
And so, like, having somebody to break things down, like you say, you don't want to go too deep. You want like a soft landing of like giving them small bits and pieces. Having someone break down what their business is about in a way that I can digest as a basic consumer helps so much, because it helps me understand like why I even need your services. So I would say that's one way, just finding ways to break that down into small content that people can say, oh, okay, so I probably do need to learn more about diversity and all the things that includes.
Can I add to that? I'm sorry. I'm a counselor, and so I understand wanting to lend softly because people are like, I don't need that. We don't know what we need until we need it. The market, so to speak, is so ripe for you right now. A lot of companies, a lot of corporations are desiring someone to talk about that in their workspaces. We've seen so many instances where things have gone wrong real quick. And so I would suggest creating content that's more how related. How are you operating in your workplace? Is this a problem? You know, putting those questions out there that get their wheels turning, then they start to say, you know what, I really should look into that a little bit more. And that's a very soft way to ease into the conversation of diversity and equity and inclusion. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that was, you stole what I was going to say. Nothing. You are your product. So I think that you should be making sure you are showcased on your page, making sure you have a voice. And when they are looking for someone that's a consultant, they know, and because they can trust you and they see you, and some of the same advice, I think that having maybe a weekly set time or a weekly post that people know that they can go to and get a question answered, or that was a good idea. You could do answer a question weekly, whether it's on Mondays or Fridays that, you know, these businesses may have. So that way they're getting a little bit of a teaser and they're not getting, you know, everything from you.
And then two, it's a page called K Allen Consulting. Are you familiar with her? She's the truth. I think this year in her consulting business, she does education consulting. I think she just hit like $2 million. Wow. So, and she got that bag. So one thing that she does a lot on her page. So one, I think too, for all of us, knowing where your audience is, right? So when you think about consulting, some of them are on IG, but they're probably on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is like it's like, you know, when I'm looking for anything, I go on LinkedIn, like, accountant, like, you know, like, and so so I think making sure that you also like structure that content for LinkedIn. But one thing that Kay Allen Consulting does on IG is she shows a lot of the behind the scenes. So they set up a camera in the workshops, you know, of course it's no sounds, you can't hear it, but you see like a room full of people, you see people working and strategizing together. And then every time she gets a new client, she celebrates them. So she's like, oh my gosh, we just closed this deal with Southern University and they're allowing us to come in and train their whole staff, you know. And so a lot of times that's social proof, because if I see Southern University, okay, well, I mean, I guess UAB can hire.
Exactly.
She must know what she's doing. Exactly. So you have 21 clients. People need to know all 21 people you're working with, because they're gonna be like, I didn't know Maisha was out here beasting like that, which you are. You guys seem to pair up, two little humble beasts here, huh? You know what I'm saying? So I think thinking about too where your content is, who your audience is, and then sharing with people who your clients are, kind of behind the scenes. Even I think someone just said it, like, turn the camera on while you're preparing like documents and trying to figure out, turn it on, just record yourself, right. You know, and that so just let people see what you're doing. And I think that's for a lot of us. How many of you would say that you do a lot that you don't show anybody?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the part, right? We're doing so much that we don't show anybody. The thing that really builds community is that everything that you two do, you show us. Right? I love your content. So you were trying on, it was I forgot what it was. It was some like band shirt, and you like, listen, y'all, I'm just trying to, and we were in the comments like, girl, you look good, right? You show us everything you're doing when you're shopping, when you're trying new things. Emma's like, listen, I'm trying to get together this class and these kids, trying to feed them. They show us what they're doing. And so for all of us, we just have to get comfortable showing people what we do. Let me ask this other question. But is it confusing trying to figure out what part to show them?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, what part do I show them? And so I think it's important for us to think about, what do we want our community or our customers to actually do? What action do we want them to take? And based on that, that's what we need to show them, because we need to show them that we have that solution. Into what you were saying earlier, we show them we have the solution, but then we also show them why we're the ones to provide the solution, right? Like, there's plenty of people who do a lot of stuff in the hair space, but I'm not going to anybody but M, because she shows me what she does, and by doing that, I know that she's the one, right? So just wanted to add that little nugget there. You're doing great. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, y'all. I don't know if it works, but
It's on.
my name is Coco. I'm a makeup artist here in Birmingham. I'm the owner of Coco Moore Makeup. And I have been in business for almost 10 years now, mainly being service-based. Of course, doing makeup, mostly beauty, bridal, and education. But I really want to add in products, and I don't know how to do it because my social media does better off of me posting that I am providing services. Most of my clients are used to me providing services, so me trying to incorporate products, I almost kind of feel like I am turning them away from me to try to make them do it on their own. So I don't know how to use social media to foster a more retail-based clientele as opposed to service-based. I'm kind of struggling.
Are you looking to switch your page, or are you just wanting to incorporate products into the page?
More so incorporate to eventually kind of relinquish the services. But I just don't know how to do it. I don't.
You can have the best of both worlds. You can show yourself, you can show who you are. Em has already talked about it, and show her services as well. So figure out what product it is. If it's something that are you kind of struggling with, like what products to sell?
No.
You know what products to sell?
I know what products I have to sell, and every time I start to try to.
Is it makeup products?
Yes.
Friend, talk to them.
Yes.
Okay, so when you're doing your videos, you need to be using your stuff. You need to be using your products. Your products are the only thing that needs to be on there. And if you're talking about is it skincare? Is it like makeup? Is it makeup products? It could be a lipstick of the day, like how this lipstick goes with a night out, how this blush goes with a brunch look. Like you can find different ways to be able to incorporate it, but just and it can be you doing this. It could be your outfit. It could be, you getting ready to go somewhere, but incorporate yourself in that so that people, because they're going to feel comfortable because they already know that this is your page. They're already comfortable with you. So just incorporate those products into your daily life and show people why they need them, why they work. And like we've talked about customers as well. Throw some customer reviews on there. You don't have to have an entirely separate page from yours in order for it to be successful. Show them something new, even if they are just used to the booking and book with me now, or just the service part of it. When they see you, they'll be accepting of it.
I wanted to say that Coco has the best audience already because she has a whole makeup clientele. And so I would just push, because the thing about it, people get makeup services done, but we can never do what you do. You know what I'm saying? We're average and you're like the professional. So as much as like I want to think that I can beat my face like my makeup artist, I can't. But the products that you have still help me so much, because when I leave you and I go to an event and it's 6 hours later, I still need to touch up my lipstick. I still need to hit my mascara a little bit. I may need to get my blush. And so you have the perfect audience because you have people that trust you to do their face for the events, the weddings, and all the different services. You just have to push it and give it to them. They'll never be able to be Coco, but it still will help as like a side product when they're at home and they need to do a simple face. You already have the audience for that in terms of just selling the product.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Coco, let me see your face, Coco. Come on, come out the shadows. I can't see behind Candace's head. Coco, stop playing. Stop playing. So just to amplify everything that was said, you already have an audience. It's not like you have a boutique with clothes and now you're trying to sell people makeup and they don't know you for that. Right. They know you to beat faces. Right? And so it's really a natural progression of your business. So to Alicia's point, everything, even if you ain't using yours, when you're making videos and you're showing your stuff, you notice how people will be on them Zoom calls and all they books in the background. That needs to be you. And when to M's point, right? Think about the Fenty beauty approach. Everybody thought when they put that bronzer on, they were going to look like Rihanna Fenty, okay? And they did not. However, right, they were sold on that because they know they trust her, right? You have a trusted audience. The key now is to trust yourself that you can do what your business naturally is going to do, which is progress, right? So any video you make, you need to be using your own products. They need to see you in it. Even when you're on set doing weddings and you're creating content, you need to have your stuff set up. They need to see. But listen, so one thing too, I want us to all get into the habit of is stop saying what we're not good at. Because then that makes it easier to not do it. Right? Now, it may not be something we enjoy because I don't necessarily enjoy creating content. But can I do it? I mean, yeah. You know, because when I'm somewhere and I look cute, you best believe you're going to get my full outfit. You know what I'm saying? So we can do it when it's necessary. And so we have to realize that in order to do what you're doing, like you may not enjoy it the most. And then the beauty about it is there are people who really love to create content. So it might be a small investment into your business to find somebody to help you to create the content. But until that point, like that's a beautiful natural progression. And I'm very excited for you. You just have to push your own products and use them on your clients. I think that was a great point. Listen, everybody love going to brunch. This is the blush brunch. Now we're gonna be all wet. You got Coco blush brunch, right? You know, and so thinking about that, but then you were saying, hey, even after we get our makeup done, my lip is gonna go out. If I have your lipstick, I'm gonna feel like it looks like what you did, even if it doesn't. So trust yourself, and you are in a sweet spot. Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you have the audience already. Right. They trust you, and they will really trust whatever you tell them to use. But the thing is, we're constantly like, hey y'all, use this Fenty Beauty, use L'Oreal, use this, use NYX. What's the name of your product? Come on, girl, stop playing with me. Everybody use Coco More products, right? It's in the name. So people will trust whatever you tell them to do because that's what community building is. It's trust building. And for everyone who has a business, like all you're doing is building trust amongst your audience. You're providing so much value that when you tell them to do something, it's a girl I follow today. Now, I done seen Skims. Are y'all familiar with Skims? I done seen all them ads Kim Kardashian done put behind. And not one time have I ever thought to buy Skims. So I seen this girl I follow. I was like, girl, I think I need Skims, right? I trust what she says. Your audience trusts you. So you just need to give them what they need.
And I just want to add one more thing. A lot of times we think it's hard to do or create content because we're using like more difficult methods, but there are so many different easy methods that we can use. Instagram has templates like on the app where when you go on your reels, there'll be options. If you look down at the bottom on the left-hand side, it'll say use template. And so that way, all you have to do is record. All you have to do is sit your phone on a tripod and record whatever angle you want to do at that event or at that booked session with the client. And then you just go in and then you drop those videos in. That's the video. It's already done. It's already created. The text is in app. So it's really easy to create and do the videos once we, get out of our heads and stop telling ourselves that it's like really, really hard to do it. Because there are so many different apps we can use. There's InShot, there's Canva, there's all these different apps that, if you go on Instagram, they're telling us, hey, you need this app, you need this editing app, you need this editing app. And you really don't. Find the easiest, most basic method for you, and then you can progress into creating more eye-catching videos. But right now you're trying to grow, get yourself comfortable. So find an easy way to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I wanted Coco pivot on what she said, add to that. If you get your current market to do their own posting, and that's word of mouth, you don't even have to say anything. You have a whole trusted community that can speak for you by doing posts using your products, and that travels quick too. So you're in a sweet spot, as she said. Absolutely.
I did want to go back because I think it's important, again, when we talk about something tangible that people can apply when they leave. I want to talk about some of the apps and software that you guys use to make it easy. But I have another thing for you, Coco. Bring your head back over here. Another thing. So to your point as well, send some of your most trusted and best clients your product.
That's right.
For free. Send it to them. Be like, hey girl, like I have this new foundation, this new lip. I want you to try it. And when you try it, could you make a video of yourself trying it on? They're gonna do it because you said do it, right? So send some of your product to your people so they can start using it and become brand evangelists for you. Okay. So what's some software, some apps that you guys use to make it easy? Because most people in here, I'm assuming we like social media. I don't know, right? So what's some things that you guys use that make it easier for you to create?
So if you want to go really basic in terms of just starting out with content, take your iPhone, or if you have Android, I don't know, but take your iPhone and just do a time lapse of you just kind of working. The time lapse by itself can be a tool to use to show some behind the scenes. And it's kind of doing the editing for you because it's going really fast, right? And so you don't have to worry about figuring out how do I cut this, snip this, turn this, speed this up. That's just the basic way. My favorite app is InShot. It's golden. It's probably the only app I use because it allows you to add the songs, do the backgrounds, do the voiceovers, add the text on the screen. It's amazing. So InShot is one of my favorite apps that I personally use.
CapCut and InShot for me. CapCut it just has a little bit more effects when it comes to the fonts. If you're interested in doing the active fonts where it looks like the words are going just as you're talking, like if you're talking or giving an inspirational post for the day and you want the words to go across the screen, CapCut is a good app for that. InShot is, like Em said, it's amazing. It's very, very easy to use. They have tutorials on there. It's as simple as it gets. And to me, editing in Instagram is pretty easy too. It's not my favorite, but if you're just looking to do just simple, editing in Instagram is great too. And Canva has templates. Canva has reel templates. They have story templates. They have templates for in-feed posts. They have any kind of template you can think of. You looking to make a billboard, it's on Canva. Canva has every option. The text is already in there. It's already inputted. All you have to do is type out what you actually want it to say. It has transitions in there. So if you're looking for something that's that you don't really get to edit yourself and it's already created, you just have to add the video in there. Canva is a really good app for that.
I did want to add that if you follow InShot on Instagram, they have tutorials all down the page that show you, hey, speed this up 1 second, like how to create certain videos that you see people use with their app. And so if you go on their page, it's tons of free information on how to tweak and do the things that you need to do inside the app to make your video look appealing.
Mm-hmm. So while we're on apps, can we talk about a lot of creators' secret weapon, right? Scheduling apps. Do y'all use those? Are you against them? What are your thoughts? And, do you use them? Because I know a lot of people that do.
I do not. But what I do now that it is an option, Instagram has an option for you to schedule your posts. So you can schedule your posts out for the week and say, you can set it up, put your caption in and everything, and then set it up for it to be posted on Monday at 12 p.m. So that's my easiest format of it because I'm on so many other different apps, I forget that I actually have to schedule the stuff on other scheduling apps. Instagram is easy for me because I'm already in Instagram. I'm already going to have to, get the content posted. So it's easy to go ahead and get the pictures up into your drafts and then schedule them to be posted on specific dates and times.
Do you use a scheduling app?
I don't, but I do think they're great if you don't have a lot of time. Like if you work with your hands a lot during the day or you just don't really have the time to post, like if you know your audience is the most active at 6 p.m. and let's say you're doing something at 6, you're fixing dinner, you're in you're driving on the interstate. I think they're great for scheduling those times so that you can stay active and present, but I don't use them currently.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I want to add, the main reason those, like the scheduling apps, I won't say they're bad, but it's best to post in moment when you have the opportunity to engage with other people because that's how you get your post seen. That's how you get your content seen by engaging with other people. As soon as you post it, you should already be on other posts saying, hey, oh, I love this, I love that. Or as people are coming in and commenting on yours, you should be commenting back. So to me, you need to be available, and you need to be able to have like a time frame set to be able to talk and engage with people, because there's been too many times that I've, scheduled and set, and the content went nowhere. But when I go back and I'm engaging with people and talking to people in the comments, that it grows.
I would like to ask too. So, okay, so y'all listen, we ain't into them scheduling apps. So do you use certain days to create content? Like, cause you have some people are like, okay, this is content day. And even for those of us who don't like content, it's like, I got to create a whole day for it. I don't want to do this. So do you have like certain days that you created, or is it like throughout the day I'm capturing stuff and then I go back and kind of see like what resonates, what works based on what I'm trying to do? Like, how do you go about creating the content and determining when to post or when you're working on it? How does that work?
Both for you.
No, go ahead.
Both for me. I have it's usually on Sundays, because I really work technically Monday through Saturday. So Sundays are my days after church where I can come in and do my makeup if it's not already done. And throughout the week, sometimes I'll have ideas that come up, and so I'll write them down in my notes. And so on Sunday, I already know what type of videos I'm gonna put out. I already know what outfit is gonna be, and so I map that out. So on Sunday when I come in, I already know what I'm doing. Did that answer?
That's good. Yeah, that's really good.
I was gonna say, for me during the week, I create while I'm working. So while I'm working, even if I don't know what the outcome is fully gonna be, I'm gonna have the camera on to capture whatever I need to capture throughout the week, so that I have something to look back on and pull from when I get to making my video to post. That's typically how I do it. Just keeping that content, keeping the camera rolling so I can capture some content.
So always capture.
But I did want to say another point in terms of getting content. A lot of times I'll sit down, if I really want to do a series, depending on what I'm trying to promote, if I'm trying to promote a course or a cohort or whatever I'm doing at the time, I'll sit down and map out how can I promote this in a series. And so if the series is, 5 ways that you can improve X, Y, and Z, I'll start mapping that out and breaking that down into 3 different pieces. So maybe day 1, I'll break down the first part. Maybe the first part is wig creation, and so breaking it down into series. So I'm giving people one big picture, but in 5 different pieces of content, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Sure.
Oh, they're bringing the mic around. Sorry about that. There we go.
We were talking about like the logistics with like software editing and stuff like that. But in terms of like creating quality content, in terms of like camera, lighting, things of that nature, like what's your approach to that? Or do you hire someone else to outsource that type of thing?
If the easiest thing is your iPhone. Like, iPhones have such high quality cameras now that if you want to, or if you're interested in investing into a camera, do that, but you don't have to in order to get quality video. And if you don't have the time to sit down or use your phone, or if you don't have the desire to create it at all, it's absolutely worth it of hiring somebody to be able to do that full time for you.
In terms of creating quality content, and this is going to sound so crazy, the one thing that I find that people forget to do is just wipe off their phone. You know what I mean? Because if you think about it, we have it in our pockets, we throw it on the table, we do all of this stuff, and then we put it on there, we try to record, and then we like, man, my video is so grainy. What? But if you just wipe that thing off right before you record, the quality is like night and day. And so that's one thing that I actively practice every time, because it's going to give me crisp videos. And then also in iPhone, if you like set your camera settings to, I think, 60p HD, night and day difference, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just my iPhone, a ring light, and maybe some natural light, but that's all that I use for the most part.
Natural light is so key.
Yeah,
it's so key. Absolutely. Absolutely. Great questions. And anyone else? You have something?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Candace girl.
Hey.
Sorry, one last question. Okay.
Sure.
how did you secure your first brand deal without, because you said analytics and things like, so, I know you mentioned like other brands you work with, so I haven't worked with any brands. So how would I approach a brand? I'm like, hey, I'd like to write for you guys, but I haven't written for any other brands yet.
So my first brand deal, I actually went into a City Trends and I tried their clothes on, and I was in the fitting room and I filmed the whole thing and just show people like how the clothes fit on me, where I wanted to wear them, and what I think they look good with. And I posted it in my stories, and they ended up DMing me after that saying, hey, can we send you a gift card? I worked with them for the gift card, and then the next deal was paid.
Network.
Mm-hmm. So and I said that to say sometimes it's just investing in the brand in a way. So maybe you want to write about the brand before you get a deal with them. Maybe that's your way of contacting them instead of emailing them or DM them. Maybe you offer them something before they solidify a deal.
Kind of showing them what you
your
offer.
interest. Mm-hmm.
Love that. I love that. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Awesome.
I feel something coming from the back of the room. I don't know. I feel like you guys want to say something, but you're not. I can feel you. I'm a Q&A prophet. So what questions do you guys have in the back?
Q&A prophet.
Nothing. It's that spirit of call out. And again, I wanna make sure y'all get y'all questions answered, because so let me ask you this question then. Table in the back. What was one of the, I know she's like, shut up talking to me. So what was is it Kiara? Oh, I told you I'm a Q&A prophet girl. No, I heard you checking in at the beginning. So I do want to understand too, like some of the reasons why you guys came.
That's good.
Right? Because sometimes you don't know what to ask. You're just kind of observing, kind of taking stuff in. But again, I want to make sure you walk away with something tangible. So we have a few more minutes. We're not going to keep you the whole evening. But I want to make sure you walk away with something. So for you, what was one of the reasons why you came in, and what is something that you wanted to learn about social media and you felt like tonight could help you with?
Hi, everyone. I'm Kiara. I'm actually a social media strategist. So I came to see if there was anything that I was missing, anything that I could learn from, anything I could gain to amplify my current business.
That's awesome. So that means somebody here might need your services. So we love that for you. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay. Ma'am in the purple. I'm coming for y'all whole table, just so you know. Ma'am in the purple.
I'm in business with her.
I love that. Look at the tag team back again. It's two of y'all back there. So I know some of us are like, social media is a scary, hairy monster. So what's the company called?
Kiosk Media Consulting.
So we have Kiosk Media Consulting that can help you with your content strategy. And I'm assuming you guys provide discovery calls, consultation, content creation. Is that correct?
We're actually in the discovery phase right now. So This is kind of new. She's new to PR.
Okay.
So we're in the discovery phase and just trying to figure out how to offer services that no one else is offering in the city of Birmingham.
I love that.
That's even more beautiful.
Yes.
Shooting content
Yes.
is one of those services. A lot of people do not offer to shoot the content for you within the packaging.
So she has PR background and I have news background. I just got out of the death and destruction of television news. So
Bless you.
thank you. We're working together to kind of mash all of our skills together and offer what people need.
Sounds like a powerhouse.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Make sure you guys contact them. Discovery phase, but still, it's a great opportunity to start working with people now and working with them and being able to test some things out. I'm sure people will be open to it. Sir.
So I'm Joe Thomas. I do taxes, bookkeeping, and things of that nature. So I provide a service. Some of the information that y'all provided tonight was very helpful. I would say when it comes to me posting on social media, I think y'all got me beat with quicker time because it take me a long time to edit and post. And so trying to find those ways to like cut and make it quicker and a little bit automated. One of the things I'm taking away is I'm not going to do the automated. And staying personal because I was going to be kind of like that type A, just keep it running. But it's been a lot of helpful information here tonight, so I greatly appreciate it.
Awesome. I love that. I do want to ask a question. Is there anybody else in financial services? Anybody else?
Banking.
Ha ha ha. I knew that already because I'm a Q&A prophet. She's so crazy.
She's good.
I love this for me. So I want to know too, because again, we have service providers, right? Like we have some people, I think there was some really great advice too, Candace, from a writing standpoint. We got Coco together. I can't wait to buy my foundation, right? And so I think like with some service providers, even with you, Maisha, with consulting, it gets challenging trying to figure out how do I take this subject that nobody is not sexy, right, and make it something that people engage with, right? So from both of you guys' standpoint, like how are you currently creating content to engage with people around taxes in the financial services? And we'll start with you since I started with you, and then we're gonna come to a friend in the suit. Yes.
Okay, this might be a little backstory too, but also I used to work with, I still work with
whole table. I knew it. Y'all
so,
all in cahoots.
She has put me on a lot of game when it comes to content creation and stuff like that. So I follow them a lot. One of the things is, number one, I definitely be authentic. I show up as Joe Henry Thomas in all my posts. And so that kind of helps me bring people to my situation. Also, I work with the individuals that I know are coming around me, like sowing the seed, I guess. So individuals that are growing up with me, that are, becoming workers and stuff like that, and don't really know taxes and have the basic questions and stuff. I start posting videos like that because a lot of me and my college friends think the same. So answering those questions kind of relate to them also. And then once they have word of mouth, somebody else can sell for me better than I can sell for myself. Right.
Gotcha.
So I kind of do that approach. And then I at least try to get my clients to bring on one more person next year, so at least I can try to double.
Okay, cool. So educational. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So my space is a little bit different than most other professional services, and most advisors fall into the space. We're highly regulated, so we're restricted in what we can post, and everything's got to be approved, and so typically limited on that end. What I've found to be effective in primarily using LinkedIn is knowing what I provide, who can benefit, and reaching out organically. So a lot of what I do is I'll automate some connection requests, but for the most part, the conversations that I have with people on LinkedIn, on platform, things that I can post about, we can't take client reviews, and so that does provide some level of difficulty on social media. I can't like certain posts, and so it is difficult. But for things like consulting and financial advising, I think knowing your target audience, like y'all touched on, how to reach them and who the decision maker is, especially when you're working with small businesses or larger corporations for something like diversity and inclusion. I'm connecting with HR managers and saying, hey, here's what I do. Let's grab coffee or lunch. And that's what I find to be the most effective in my target market, whether it's business owners. I work with a lot of consulting professionals. And so usually that's how the conversation starts, because I don't know that I can help them. And so a lot of times it's just an open-ended conversation initially to see if there is a service that I can offer.
Perfect. Okay, so I want to highlight something too. So when we talk about our target audience, you made a very valid point, and a word that's really important in a lot of our spaces is understanding who has decision rights. So that also plays into your target audience, right? So so we'll use M, for example. Her decision right most of the time lies with the woman who's going to purchase her product, right? So she knows I'm talking directly to them. They're busy. They're looking for convenience. They're looking for luxury. So she talks directly to her target audience, which we hear that all the time. It can be like so general, right? But who has decision rights? So I think that was really great. So it's like, okay, most of the time when these contracts are coming in, who is usually the one in these companies who's giving the okay, who's signing the check, who's asking you for your W-9, right? Figuring out who those people are, so then we can talk to them specifically and directly. So I think understand who the audience is, but also in your industry, in your field, who has decision rights, and how can we use language that resonates with them So they also understand that we provide a solution, because they're going to take that back to their team and say, hey, I think that so-and-so is the person for the job.
Right. And I think ultimately, service-wise, I work with a lot of blue-collar manufacturing, roofing, commercial cleaning, janitorial. And so it's, again, decision maker, foot in the door. Who can I partner with that already has their foot in the door with these companies? And so when we're working on growth strategies with somebody who might be looking to scale, it's who's in the same maybe line of business doing something different that you can connect with and say, hey, I want to work with these types of companies. Do you work with any of these companies? And you'll find out a lot of times that they do, and they're happy to make an introduction. And so that's a more natural way, I think, of using social media, developing an organic relationship, and then turning that into business for a lot of the business owners that we work with.
Very good.
Awesome. Last thing for the Q&A Prophet. So, hey, ma'am, how are you? So the question is for you, right? I know you're in marketing. So, yes, the microphone is all yours. I know you're in marketing. So for you, what was one of the things that you were like, hey, I want to come here because I want to understand this. I want to learn more. What was the thing for you attending so we could understand?
Yes. Hello, everyone. So I wanted to come here also to get some insight on social media. My thing is content, and I wanted to know what was working for everyone else, like that strategy. I wanted to get with you, actually you both, about the whole scheduling, because I don't know, I don't use it that often either, but I know when you have multiple clients, it is easier, like convenient, all that stuff. So yeah, just to gain some insights, what others are doing. Gotcha. Heavy on the content, because that's what I focus on with marketing.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Got you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys for being so open and flexible to my random questions. But the reality is everybody has a question and a statement. And so sometimes it just takes somebody to get on your nerves. So thank you. Could you pass the mic to sir next to you? I said that was the last one. Okay. So hello, introduce yourself. And then two, and I'm doing this as well because there's connections in the room. Because we already have a company back there that can help us, right? Help some of us in the room. And then we know you do marketing. So we have somebody here that you can connect with who does marketing. So the more we know about who's amongst us, the more we can do. Hey, get ready, Faith. Go ahead.
I'm Daniel with Hill Media Productions, and we do video production and help other businesses grow through video. And also, if anybody is an event planner, we're looking to work with more event planners too.
Gotcha.
For like corporate events, award shows, trade shows, and create content for them as well, so they can sell it next time they have an event to bring in more people.
So it sounds like you can make video content. Who was asking about that?
What it sounds
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. My prophetic is off the roof. Listen, we got some. So this is someone who is open to being able to create video content for you. Is that correct? In addition to the other services that you all offer?
Right.
I love that. So y'all talk to friend, okay?
Daniel.
Okay, I mean Daniel friend. You know, I would call you friend. All right, Faith. Okay, and then seriously, I'm done. Girl, you stop looking at me. Look, she like, please, ma'am, do not.
I wouldn't even make eye contact.
I could feel you.
Clearly. I'm Faith Elizabeth. I do hair. I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I came because this is my first time working on my own. I've always been in someone else's salon doing, work for them, building up their brand, marketing for them, all of the things. So now it's for me. Super nervous, super excited, all of the things. So I came mainly because I knew you were going to be here. Yes. I knew about your hair, girl. I was like, okay, yes. But I had to come. Anyway, I knew because I provide services, because I'm a licensed cosmetologist, I have to market. I knew social media is probably one of the biggest things in my industry to gain more clients. I've done it in the other salons and things I worked in. I've never marketed, but I still had a fairly good clientele. But also those were environments to where it's a franchise or it's a chain, so people are automatically going to come in. So I do have clients that I can bring with me, but gotta have more, bigger clientele, and my why is the biggest thing that I'm pushing, so that people understand, like, it's not this business behind me is why you're coming because of me and the service that I provide. So that's very helpful. I'm going to say something to you because I just feel like I need to. For makeup, I do not do makeup anymore. Not my thing. I do have a girlfriend of mine who we all worked at a company together, makeup cosmetic store, and she's now branching out to do makeup as well as sell product. I have on her lip product right now. I market for her.
That's right.
So I think you came with him. That's one of your biggest things. I went to the bank today, and 2 women talked to me, oh my gosh, I love your makeup, what do you do? How do you, I can never, da-da-da-da-da. Even with me working in a makeup store, I got that question all the time. I could never do this. I could never, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna do what you can do. No, you can't. However, the reason why I'm gonna give you this product, I had to simplify it for them. Don't try to redo what I'm doing. You need a 15-minute face so you can be in and out of the door. You're a mom, you're a wife, you got other things to do, all of the things to do. You need something really, really quick. So like the ladies I talked to today, I said, I'm gonna give you 7 products. I said, I did my makeup in the car today. 7 products for today. And that's all you're gonna need for your everyday face. So you have to market to your client, because they're gonna come to you for wedding. They're gonna come for you for their launch events, their whatever, their big to-dos, but also market to that everyday woman who, I can't do this, but I need to know how to do something because I gotta go to work and I gotta have something. Market to them too. So have your friends, people that you know, put it on, do a video, or just take a picture to say, this is what I look like. This is my makeup for today. And Coco did it, or this is Coco's makeup, or whatever. That will get you a lot more attention. Like they said, you already have a foundation, you already have a trusted clientele, you already have people who are gonna come to you. They'll also buy from you too. Just because, I came to her for my wedding. Coco also has foundation. She has lipstick, mascara, that I can put in my little bag and my purse and show them how to do it. Show them a quick little something to make them, feel like they can do the quick something, but come to you for the big somethings.
Look, Faith done turned into a prophet too.
Anyway,
See, the spirit is jumping all over the room.
It came over here, but anyway, that's why I came.
Yes, thank you for coming, and I'm really, I want y'all to connect to be able to. Yes.
So we've actually, and that's the beauty of like community, because we've been like social media friends forever, and I don't. Yeah.
Mom actually found you on Instagram, and she was like, oh my gosh, you have to look at her wigs. Like, I just want one. And, she's always talking about wanting one, and she doesn't know how to do them or wear them or whatever. She always feels like, I don't know what to do. But I was like, you can't go to the store and buy a wig and call it cute and put it on. I said, the reason why she's gonna go to you, she's gonna customize this for you. It's not something out of a package. It's not something that anybody can put on. It's customized based off of you, and it's put together very, very well. I said, I have some that, somebody made and it was like falling apart. But you would go to her because it's constructed to perfection. It moves. She can color it. She cuts it. Like, girl, I'll be watching all your.
Listen, we know M is a beast, which is why you're up here. So we appreciate you. And then I will thank you guys for letting me join you. I know I hopped up here, but I do want you to go ahead and wrap, sweetie.
Oh, let's wrap it up. Awesome. Well, thank you, Em. We enjoyed everything you shared. And Alycia, thank you so much. Beautiful job, ladies. I believe we're going to stay and mingle a little bit. All right. So if you have any additional questions for these two ladies, and if you need to network, which y'all do, now's the time. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us online. Alycia?
I know, girl, I said I was done. I do want to thank you guys for coming. So this is National Small Business Week. This is happening all over the country. But here at Polaris Birmingham, which is a flexible co-working and event space, we wanted to make sure that Birmingham was representing and supporting small business owners. Now, we could have done multiple things. We could have had little wine mixes. We know people love the free alcohol and appetizers. But I wanted to make sure that you walked away with something tangible. So that was really important to us. So we wanted to do it in a space that provide a community. But sometimes you go to different things and you can't remember what was said and you don't have anything you can apply. And then in addition to that, there's no one to hold you accountable after. So one of the beautiful things about hosting it here is that after this week is over, you can still connect to the community that we're building. You can still connect to the resources that we have, and we will help to hold you accountable, because our goal here, Polaris, is derived from the name the North Star. So this is our North Star. And so we want to make sure that here you actually execute. We get you from idea to execution. So if you guys could do me a favor, pull your phones out. Some of y'all was here this afternoon, so you already did it. But go to your app store or your George store, no shade, no tea, and go to Polaris, POLARISBHM. So go to your app store. You can download the app. You download that app, you will be able to get push notifications about future events that we have going on. You'll be able to see other people inside of the community, connect with them, because again, we don't want this just to be a moment where you learn some good stuff, we laughed a little bit, you took some notes. I want this to be able to carry you throughout your journey and have a space to return with people who care about what you're doing and how you're doing. So make sure you download the app and stay connected with us. Thank you. Can we give everybody a round of applause? Thank you for hosting and stepping in for Ashley, who couldn't be here. Alycia, thank you both so much. Alycia, thank you for not telling me no. I appreciate it. And again, like you were making mention of, please, you guys connect with one another. And we have one last session tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. about leadership and strategy. Everyone needs to know about leadership and strategic thinking. I don't care what business you're in, where you are. If you're going to grow anything or start anything, you need to know how to lead yourself, how to lead people, and you need to know how to think strategically about what you're doing. So if you guys have time tomorrow, please stop by tomorrow at 2 p.m. It's the last session for us this week. Thank you again for coming out, and have an amazing evening.